Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Natalie Higgins. Hiya, Natalie.
Hello, Mark. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. So Natalie's joining us from TJ Fire and Security today. And for those of you joining us for the first time, what is the Business Spotlight, I hear you say? So the Business Spotlight, it's an opportunity for us to interview and find out a bit more about local businesses and local business owners. And for you, the audience and the listener, to listen to some journeys that people and business owners have been on in their endeavors, setting their business up and running their business. So if you're thinking about getting into business, or if you already are on that entrepreneurship journey, you're in the right place. So Natalie, if you can just kick things off for us by letting the audience know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
So I'm Natalie from TJ Fire and Security. We're based in Welwyn Garden City. Company is 51 years old. I have obviously not been here for that length of time. We're a family-run business. So the T was my granddad Trevor, and the J is my dad John. It's now run by my brother and I, and we've been here 22 years, which is a very long time. I love every minute of it. So we do all fire and security related things. So the business started with extinguishers, and we then branched into fire alarms. Now we do intruder, CCTV, door access control, and anything else fire and security related. So a very broad range we have, which is interesting and great.
Wow, fantastic. 51 years, that's amazing. And what's that, three generations?
We're third generation. So
Oh, wow,
there
that's
was a lot of
amazing.
pressure. There was a lot of pressure at the beginning to not mess it up, but I feel we've passed long past that now. But yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. So, sorry, was it 22 years that you said you've been doing it with your brother now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's 21 or 22. I feel I should know that. A very long time,
That is that.
very
Well,
long
it's
time.
brilliant
So
though.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
So,
you.
I mean, the success is obviously there, Natalie. So, what would you say? I mean, there's other companies out there doing something similar, but what would you say that makes you different or stand out from the competition?
I think because we're a family-run business and my dad and my granddad's name is on the business, we care a lot more than someone else. So we still have customers that we won back in 1973. We have engineers that have worked here for 40, nearly 50 years. And I think because we're family run, we really do care about each and every customer. Customers aren't a number on our system. We will go and see any customer, no matter how big, no matter how small. If we win a customer, if we lose a customer, all of those matter. They're
Yeah, no, of
really not,
course.
yeah, not just a number, on a spreadsheet or on a CRM. You actually matter to us.
That's really good. That's really refreshing to hear as well. So that's very nice. So I don't expect you to be able to go into graphic detail because obviously that's a long 51-year history that you've got there, Natalie. But just give us a bit of a, I don't know, a whistle stop tour of the business when it was obviously established, which you just mentioned, 1973, and then just sort of bring us through that journey and bring us up to date to where you are now.
So it started by my dad and my granddad. They both did the same thing for other national companies and realized that they could set up and do it by themselves. So they set it up in the front bedroom of my granddad's house. And then slowly progress move. My dad and my granddad, very good salesmen, and literally started by bashing on doors. Um, and yeah, by the time my brother and I came into the business, it had been going 30, nearly 30 years. And I think getting some new blood in was great. We used to sub some bits out, and Gavin and I were straight away saying, right, how can we do this? I had a nursing background. My brother had a business background. So we were not in the industry. So we came in with a completely fresh eyes, essentially. And then in the last 10 years, Gavin and I have really pushed the security side as well. So now we can do all the intruder and the CCTV and the access because people they want that one-stop shop. They want to be able to go and get you know, the fire, can you do my fire training? Can you do, you know, my access, my signage, my pat testing? So we're just constantly evolving as people ask for things.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I mean, I didn't realize that you do the training side of things as well. So that's really interesting to hear. So, I mean, that's the background of the business then, Natalie, in a very quick whistle stop tour. But what's the future hold? I mean, what plans have you got going forwards, and what challenges do you think you're going to have as well?
The industry is going through some changes at the moment post Grenfell, and there was a new Fire Safety Act. So the industry is going through some changes at the moment, of which we are trying to be proactive as opposed to reactive. There's a lot of change going through with BT, and the BT Red Care is ceasing to exist. So again, we're working quite hard with our clients. That stops running in July 2025. So we're working quite hard with our clients to push all of that through so that we are, you know, being proactive rather than reactive. But we're quite open to ideas. Sometimes the customer will say, do you offer this? And we look and say, no, but actually we can. And that's the great thing about running a family-run business. We're not having to go up to decision makers. My brother and I can sit and say, yeah, let's customers are asking for that. Why can't we offer it? So it gives us real flexibility.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, I mean, it looks like the future's going to be bright and rosy for you, but what challenges do you think you might have going forward?
Oh, that's a good one. There are always challenges in the industry. Things like Grenfell that posed a huge challenge, and lots of thing changes. So you can tell your customers today that you must have X, Y, and Z, and then the new fire safety law comes in, and they don't need that anymore, or they need additional, or the fire brigade say, no, it's now a stay put policy in a tower block. So sort of the biggest challenge is trying to educate our customers without so that they realize why we're telling them what we're telling them, that we are that's the new law that we have to work to. So I think probably the education of how important it is and how fire kills, and take take it seriously. A
Yeah.
lot of people are quite blasé about it. And that's probably our biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah, no, I can see that. That's great, Share. Thanks for being so open with me on that. So, Natalie, moving on to yourself then as the business owner, I mean, what would you say since running the business 21, 22 years ago, what would you say has been your biggest lesson to date?
We set up an internet company a couple of years ago, not a couple of years ago, about 15 years ago, and we sold a lot of appliances online. And we learned a very hard lesson of being busy fools. We turned over something like £500,000 in the first year, literally made zero profit, because it was chucking boxes out at very, very low cost, not to existing. We were then selling them countrywide. And we really learned that profit is sanity and turnover is vanity. We ran it as a completely separate company. It was a lot of fun. It was really innovative at the time. But we definitely learned that the amount of time it took wasn't ever going to pay my mortgage, or probably even my shopping bill, quite frankly, in profit. So we did that for about a year and took the decision to walk away because it wasn't it wasn't cost effective. The amount of time we put into it, we then put that into TJ Fire and Security. And yeah, that was just, yeah, so a hard decision and a hard decision to make, but 100% the right one.
Yeah, I think that's so important, isn't it? I mean, you know, as business owners, we do make a lot of decisions on a daily basis, and sometimes they do pull at your heartstrings, but you've got to make that decision nonetheless. And you know, that lesson of making that decision, and it was a hard one to make, but knowing that, you know, as we all say, that profit is sanity and turnover is vanity.
Yeah,
So I do
yeah.
love that phrase. I love that saying. So thanks for sharing that.
But it is just, and busy fools, that's how we looked at it. But we were very busy, but not making the money that we could make if we put that time into TJ Fire and Security.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a hell of a lot of sense. So, Natalie, we're going
Google, I think Google got rich though on the amount we spent on AdWords.
to.
Literally,
Yeah, I
I
think,
think Google got very rich off that.
yeah, there's a lot of companies that I speak to that have gone down various rabbit holes with Google advertising. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? You weigh that up and you work out
Yeah.
whether it's worth sticking with something, and you know when it's right and when it's not right. So obviously you made that good decision. So that's great. And then look at you now. Look at you now.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go back in time, Natalie. We're going to go back and we're going to journey back to an 18-year-old Natalie. Now you get to give yourself one piece of advice, one golden nugget. What would it be?
Um, go traveling. Not business related, but that's my biggest regret. I didn't go traveling at 18. I didn't finish my A levels and take a year out and go like, around Australia. I never had the nerve to do that. I wish I had. I have a 9-year-old, and now I'm just like, go traveling. You know, when you're older, go and see the world, and then come back, and then set up your business, or run your business. Because once you are, um, sorry, they're just trying to do something other side of my desk. Very noisy. I don't know if you can hear it. Once you are in business and you're doing that, for me, it's very, very hard to go traveling. Um, I think if you've got an idea, go for it. You know, you're young, you're ambitious, you've got energy, you know, so much energy when you're young, you know. So yeah, I think travel and just if you every idea, world's your oyster. Have a go.
Yeah,
What's the worst that can happen?
I think that's really key because I hear it so often. I mean, I know there are a lot of people that do take that time out, whether it's a year or a few years or whatever, whether that's traveling or just following passions and that kind of thing. And then there's a lot of people that have done it the other way, where they've sort of got involved with something, whether that's a business idea, sort of getting on that entrepreneurship journey and saying, no, I can do that later, I can do that later. And I think one of the key elements you've mentioned there is when you're young and you've got that energy and you can go and travel or whatever it is that you choose to do when you're young, as opposed to, what retirement age, if we're lucky, 65 or there or thereabouts. We're not going to have the same energy as when we was 18, right?
At 65, you probably want to do it at a much better standard than you did at 18, right?
Yeah, of
You
course.
know?
Absolutely.
So there is that. But yeah, that, you know, I do wish I had traveled. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not business related, but
Yeah, no, it's a
I-
key thing though. It's getting
yeah,
that equilibrium right, isn't it, in life?
yeah. I'm
So
trying to make up for it. Trying to make up for it now, but
yeah,
it's
no,
not quite the same.
no, good for you, good for you. So Natalie, I know you're obviously very passionate about the business, being third generation within a family-run business as well. And I can tell how passionate you are, but what is it that inspires you? What is it that puts that fire in your belly to do what you do every day, every week?
My family, we are Team Higgins, so my family is huge. But also my brother and I were given a really well established business, and it just inspires me to continue that, to continue the name. I met with somebody else today, and he said, "Oh, your name is so recognizable. We've got 16, 17 bands out there." And I think that just inspires me to just continue and to make a success of anything we try to do. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. I love that. I think that's brilliant. Natalie, listen, I know that what you've said today is really going to resonate. And I know a lot of the viewers and listeners are going to want to get in touch with you. So if they're looking to get in touch with you, Natalie, to find out more about you and your business, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Probably email. So it's Natalie at tjfire.co.uk, or they could speak to her. We've got an amazing admin team. So anyone on the landline number, which is 01707 326 093. Always up for meeting new customers, giving advice, or having a coffee. We're up for that too.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can't beat having a good cup of coffee. And you don't need to tell us what your website address is because it's on the back of the wall in behind you.
Yeah, if I duck, yeah. Yeah, nice and easy. Yeah, tjfire.co.uk. There's also a contact us page, news page. We try and keep the news section updated with relevant fire and security news as well. So
Brilliant. Natalie, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us.
thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And to everybody and to all of our listeners and viewers out there, that's a wrap. That's this episode of the Business Spotlight. And we'll see you all again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.